Experts will tell you that about 1 in 30,000 deer is born all white, and that they seldom live to maturity as an all white deer. The odds of seeing one for the average person might be you see 1 or 2 in your lifetime, and probably not while you're hunting. Yet, I've seen many while I was hunting. I've seen many driving around. I've seen groups of 3 or 4 of them in a field at once. In my little area in southeastern Wisconsin, the area around Jefferson County, going a little into Waukesha County, there is an exceptionally high number of all-white deer. I tried to get a biologist to come on the show, but didn't have any luck. But I did research it a little bit. Now, what's interesting is some of these deer have pink eyes, some of them have blue eyes, but the majority of these deer have brown eyes and black nose like every other deer. And it seems like a higher genetic trait in those white deer. I heard of a place in Seneca, New York that has a similar thing going on with just a high concentration of white deer. It's a pretty unique thing. I could probably go out on just about any evening and find a white deer in a field feeding. Not many people can do that. I've been fortunate enough to see a lot of white deer.
There's a buck actually chasing him.
It is.
I don't know if she's in heat or what. Is that unreal?
In Wisconsin, there was a period of time of about a 2 or 3 year window when they legalized shooting white deer. And during that time frame, I targeted a white doe that I knew about that lived in the middle of a public swamp. And what's interesting is I know a lot of people that hunt that swamp that have never seen her, even though she's completely white. During a 2 year period, I got one opportunity, I shot over her back, and I got another opportunity and I ended up taking her. The last year you could hunt white deer, I had already taken that white doe, and I was hunting at Dave's farm, and at the corner of my eye I saw something, and I looked and I saw a 2-year-old with a pretty small rack for a 2-year-old coming out with in a group of bucks and heading straight for me. And I knew if I shot that white buck that I would probably be the only person in Wisconsin and maybe anywhere, because I've never heard of anybody being able to get 2 in the wild with archery gear ever. And it was walking right to me, and about halfway it turned and walked over to Dave, and he shot it.
I don't know what really happened. I looked down, I looked twice, and I was like, what is that? And I didn't realize it was a deer. I thought it was a white dog coming. And I looked and I said, holy cow, that's a deer. Yeah, more or less he turned broadside and I shot him.
There was one doe I was watching for a while that I'd go just observe. She was a real aggressive animal, and she even ruled the bucks. And I got some really cool footage one day of her going after a young buck.
This is cool. on the screen.
A friend of mine who's a local photographer, Ralph Curtis, has some real, long distance deer and was able to get some really good photos of a lot of the white deer in the area. He has an interest just like me in the white deer, and we often share with each other where the white deer are or where we're seeing a nice one, but his pictures are just fantastic. One interesting note about the white doe that I shot was that a couple years after I shot it, I was up in the whole other end of the state, at the top of the state, bear hunting with Mike Foss, and Mike had a biologist in his camp looking at the bears that were harvested. And I went out to eat with the biologist, and we were sitting at a table talking hunting and eating a meal, and he started bringing up the topic of white deer, and he mentioned that he was doing research and following a white doe but lost track of her. And he said it was kind of in your neck of the woods. It was, in Jefferson County. And I said, really? Where are you talking about? He goes, it was right on public land in XYZ Marsh, which is where I shot the albino doe. And he says, and it lived back on an island. And I said, you got to be kidding me. That's the doe I shot. And I shared pictures with him, and we had kind of a laugh about it. Here I am 5 hours away, and this guy knew about that white doe. I hope you enjoyed the video today. It's a little different than the normal ones we do, but I thought it was an interesting topic to the deer hunters that watch. And it's something that's always had my interest. And I had a lot of footage of these white deer, and I thought I would share it. And I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the subscribe, hit the like. See ya.